إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. اعلموا فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وبعد. My dearest brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions in the Quran, وَاللَّهُ أَخْرَجَكُم مِّن بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions that He took you out from the stomachs and the wombs of your mothers. لا تعلمون شيئا, you were of knowledge of nothing. وجعل لكم السمع, He granted you hearing. والأبصار, He granted you sight. والأفئدة لعلكم تشكرون, and He gave you a heart and limbs so that you may thank Him and be in gratitude to Him. Allah Azza wa Jal, upon mentioning this ayah, the first thing He mentions is the sam' and the basar. He mentions the sight, and then, He mentions the hearing, and then He mentions the sight. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, may you be from amongst those who are of shukr, who are of gratitude, who express their thanks to Allah Azza wa Jal. From this ayah we understand that the blessing of being able to hear and being able to see is a ni'mah upon which shukr should be done. It is a blessing upon gratitude that which should be showed and expressed. And this blessing today, in today's time and today's era, is a blessing in which we take for granted and we waste and we slaughter in the way of sin in ways that cannot be mentioned. Those hearing in which Allah Azza wa Jal has granted us, the way in which we express our gratitude and shukr is by using our hearing in the way in which Allah Azza wa Jal is pleased with. And the sight should be used in the way which Allah Azza wa Jal is pleased with. When we do this, we express our shukr to Allah. When we refrain our hearing from listening to that which is haram, of gossip, of namima, of music, other things, that which are haram, we restrain ourselves. We are in ibadah and shukr to Allah. When we restrain our sight from seeing that which is haram, seeing that which is not permissible, whether it be on the billboards, whether it be on your phones, whether it be in front of you, whether it be behind you, wherever it be, the seeing it and restraining from it, it's an act of ibadah and shukr to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, فَلَا نَسْأَلَنَّ, when the day of judgment will occur and all of us, me and you, will stand before Him, Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, فَلَا نَسْأَلَنَّ, we will ask you, الَّذِينَ أُرْسِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, those to whom the messengers were sent. And then, وَلَا نَسْأَلَنَّ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, and we will ask them, those who are sent as messengers also. So Allah says that you will stand before me, you will be questioned, and the messengers that were sent will be questioned. And then he says, فَلَنَقُصَّنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ بِعِلْمٍ وَمَا كُنَّا غَائِبِينَ. And then we will tell them, we will relate to them everything that they used to do with ilm, with knowledge, that which was asserted and written. وَمَا كُنَّا غَائِبِينَ. And we were not absent of that which you used to do. And in relation to this ayah, we are talking about the sight, we're talking about the hearing. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَالْوَزْنُ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْحَقِّ. On that day, the scales will be brought out and balances will be made. فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. And whomsoever has a scale that which is weightful, then فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Then they will be from amongst those individuals who will be successful. وَمَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. And whomsoever has a scale that has no weight on it, it is light. فَأُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. They are individuals that have placed themselves in loss. بِمَا كَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يَظْلِمُونَ. Because of the oppression that they used to do against the ayat of Allah Azza wa Jal. So here, in the first ayah, we described the fact that the shukr of the sight and the ears should be done. The shukr of the ears and the eyes should be done. And the way in which we should do the shukr to Allah Azza wa Jal is by spending the ni'mah, that which has been granted to us, in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, and refraining this ni'mah from causing it to fall into haram. And then Allah Azza wa Jal in this second ayah, He warns us and He says to us that we will ask you, not only you but the messengers also, and we will tell you and relate to you every bit of the information that you used to do, and we were not absent of the information that you did, or it will not be made absent to you. And on that day the scales will be placed, and whomsoever has scales that are weightful, Allah will grant them success. And whomsoever has a scale that which is light, then Allah will says the fact that they have caused themselves to be in loss, and they will be from those individuals who have oppressed themselves. In this we find that it is not permissible for us to cause ourselves any type of harm of the sin that which would relate to us on the Day of Judgment. It is not permissible for ourselves to cause ourselves harm and to lose our Jannah and to be from the people of the hellfire. But within this, we find the fact that Allah Azza wa Jal has placed within everything, and He has made it an imtihan, a test, where He will test you on your shahawat. He will test you on your desires. He will test you on your lusts. Allah will test you with your eyes, and Allah will test you with your ears and your hearing. What is it that you look at? What is it that you listen to? But this shahawat don't just relate to your eyes and your ears, but also your stomachs, also your farj, your private parts, where Allah Azza wa Jal, He clearly states, and He says the fact that all of these things are a test upon you. Protect them, preserve them from haram, look after them, don't let them fall into haram. And then Allah Azza wa Jal in another ayah He says, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Say to the believing men the fact that they should lower their gazes, وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ, and then they protect their private parts. And here we find the fact that in today's generation, the fact that we give our children this device here, and we allow them access without any control. We allow them free access without any measure. And we allow them to do whatever they want without overseeing and shadowing how is it that they are using them. And we allow their sights to fall into haram. And we allow the normalization of looking at haram. We allow the normalization of listening to haram. And here, Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us, and the fathers of the houses, and the men of the houses, and those who are in charge of the houses, and the mothers of the houses, Allah states and He tells you that you train your children, and you train yourselves, and you train your nafs. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. say to the believers the fact that they should lower their gazes. They should not look at that which is haram. وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ, and they should protect their private parts. And here we find that the relation between the sight and the haram of oneself, of the farj, is related with one another. So if the sight is protected, the rest of the body is protected. And if the sight is not protected, then the rest of the body is also distorted with it. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, on a separate note, He calls out to the believing woman. And for my dearest sisters, wearing your makeup and going out is not permissible. And wearing your makeup and being in hijab and niqab is permissible, for as long as you are covered and no other man, non-mahram, can see you. وَإِلَّا, for the sisters to come out and to be in a state where they are not covered, and the hair are not covered, and their bodily adornments are not covered, and their chests are not covered, and their legs are showing, and their leggings are expressed, all of this is not permissible. And if they are the cause for other believing men that they raise their eyes and they look at them, they are sinned just as much as the men are sinned. They are the cause of sin and the fitna. وَإِلَّا, their sin is far greater than the one who looks at them. So they need to be careful, and they need to be cautious. They need to be adhering to the fact that they assemble themselves and they conduct themselves in a manner which is pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. So when they come out as Fatima radiallahu anha would come out, as Khadija radiallahu anha would come out, as Aisha radiallahu anha, she would come out, and they dress like them. As Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغْضُضْنَ قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says to the believing woman, the fact that they should lower their gazes, and they should protect themselves, and they should protect their adornments. And here in this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla, in other verses, He says, يُدْنِينَ مِنْ جَلَابِيبِهِنْ, the fact that they should cover themselves with their jilbabs. They should cover their bodies with a cloth where no other man can place their sight upon them. وَإِلَّا, they become the cause of other men to look at them and to be and fall into haram and to fall into in a state of disrepair. When this is something, the fact that they should be cautious of. And here we find the fact that the fitna that has become paramount upon the ummah, whether it be upon the billboards, as we said, or it be upon the TVs that which are in front of us, whether it be the news channels that we look at, or it be the devices that we have, or it be the news feeds upon our Facebooks, or it be this Instagram, or it be the reelings of the TikTok that which we allow for our children to go through one after another. All of these are very problematic because they only normalize the behavior within their minds and within themselves. The fact that this particular action, there is nothing from it, or there's nothing to it, or it's permissible, or it's normalized. وَإِلَّا, the natural state of the human being and the believing woman and the men and the generations that which are growing, they will no longer be able to withstand that and not be able to hold those values and no longer be able to hold on to those morals. وَإِلَّا, if they had their sisters in front of them, they will not be able to look at them normally. And if they had their mothers in front of them, they could not look at them normally. And all of these things are because of the sight and the eyes. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَاللَّهُ أَخْرَجَكُم مِّن بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. That when the people come out of their mother's womb, the only way in which they're able to absorb this information is through the ears and the sight of the individual. So our parents and dearest fathers and mothers, protect the sight of your children, protect the hearings of your children. Watch what they see, watch what they hear, control what it is that they see, control what it is that they hear. And this is an obligation upon every individual. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says in another ayah, إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا, that indeed Allah Azza wa Jal is forever watchful over you. So my dearest brothers and sisters, all of us in this present zaman that which we live in, that we should allow ourselves to shiver and our hairs to stand in goosebumps. The fact that Allah Azza wa Jal is very close to us. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْكُم مِّنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ, and we are closer to you than your jugular vein. That Allah is closer to you and He sees you when your eyes flicker to see something, and He knows when your ears pick up to hear something. The fact that Allah is watching you, and Allah is close to you, listening to you and watching you. And when this happens, that your heart should stand up in awe, knowing the fact that Allah is listening to me, and you should be in a sense of taqwa with Him, and understanding the fact that I cannot cause myself to be in haram. I cannot be in the cause of listening to haram. I cannot be in the cause of looking at haram. Because inna Allah kana alaykum raqiba. Because Allah Azza wa Jal is forever watchful over you. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He says in another ayah, Wallahu ya'lamu ma tusirruna wa ma tu'linun. Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows what you do in secret. And Allah knows what you do in apparency. Allah knows what you're doing behind the doors. Allah knows what you're doing behind closed doors. Allah knows what you're doing behind closed curtains. Allah knows what you're doing behind your closed minds. Allah Azza wa Jal knows of that which is hidden. Allah knows of that which is apparent. Nothing is hidden from Allah Azza wa Jal. يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةُ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows the kha'in of the ayn. Meaning when the ayn for a split second, it looks at another individual or another person with kha'ina, with an ill intent, to fulfill his lust, to fulfill his desire. Allah Azza wa Jal knows of it. Allah is alim of it. Allah is alim of it. وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. And what is within the intent and the deepest veins of your heart, Allah Azza wa Jal knows of it. My dearest brothers and my dearest sisters, the eyes and the ears. The eyes and the ears is something that needs to be protected. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَإِنَّ عَلَيْكُمْ لَحَافِظِينَ كِرَامًا كَاتِبِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says that He has descended upon you angels, and these angels are hafidhin upon you. The fact that they write every single thing that which you do, and they are commanded to scribe everything that which you say. يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. They know everything that which you are doing. So my dearest brothers and sisters, with this state of where we are in today's time and today's era, that we should be very cautious of our returning to Allah Azza wa Jal and our standing before Allah Azza wa Jal, because everything will be asked on that day. حَتَّى إِذَا مَا جَاءُوهَا شَهِدَ عَلَيْهِمْ سَمْعُهُمْ وَأَبْصَارُهُمْ وَجُلُودُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. That day when we stand before Him, Allah Azza wa Jal, He says that their eyes will speak and say, and their ears will speak and say, and their skins will speak and say, and they will utter that which they used to do. In the time that which we are in, and the fitan that which we are enveloped in, and the fitan that which are upon us day in, day out, and devices that which are made easy for people to use, and devices that which are in our hands, and the people when we walk around us, in our houses, the hijab needs to be implemented. The hijab needs to be implemented. It needs to be implemented in our workplaces. What is this fact in particular with our sisters? That when they leave their madaris and masajid and they go to universities, instead of gaining the knowledge and that which is important from the madaris and masajid, they go to places to throw the knowledge that which they had learned into the deepest roots of the bins, to only gain the knowledge of something that which was not as important as the akhirah. So when they gain the knowledge from the universities, their hijabs are gone, their scarves are gone, the jilbabs are gone, their gloves are gone, the socks are gone, everything is gone. Wa'illa, what's gained? The knowledge of chemistry, the knowledge of biology. I am an engineer, I am a doctor. You're everything, but where's the iman? You're everything, but where's your hijab? But you're everything. How are you with Allah? And same with our brothers. We are with our salah good. We are with our Quran good. We are with our madaris. We are with our masajid. Wa illa, when we go to universities and we are enveloped with fitan, and instead of becoming a mu'min that's restrained and refrained and patient upon the fitna, what do? We let go of our values. We let go of our morals. Wa illa, this is not the deen of Allah. A mu'min shines with morals. A mu'min is disciplined in principles. A mu'min stands tall in the teachings of the sunnah. He doesn't let them go for his studies. He doesn't let them go because of the environment in which he is in. And we applaud the individuals who stand tall in their iman and strong in their iman. We applaud individuals that wear their hijab. We applaud individuals who protect their sights and their ears. Waillah, my dearest brothers and sisters, this is an effort that has to be done. So for the protection of our imans, our sights, our ears, our aqidah, our sunnah, everything of it. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us understanding of that which we have said, and to allow us to protect our sights and ears in a manner which is in compliance to the sunnah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معاصيك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا، ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أبقيتنا. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصل الله وسلم على نبينا وحبيبنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. قوموا وبارك الله فيكم.